Hey guys, it's Jen. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. I have got an awesome video for you today. I am going to be cleaning out and reorganizing my refrigerator, and with the ingredients that I find in my refrigerator, I'm also going to be meal prepping for the week. So I do not have a plan of when I'm going to meal prep. I'm just gonna kind of make it up as I go. But I have been wanting to organize my fridge for a while just because I don't think that I am utilizing the space very well. So I got some containers and I'm going to be taking everything out, cleaning the fridge, whatever ingredients I find, I'm gonna make up some meal prep on the fly and then sort of put everything back into an organized and clean refrigerator. So I hope that you come along with me. Let's go and we'll see what we can make and how organized we can get this fridge. Okay, so before we get started on the refrigerator clean out, I wanted to let you guys know that I am working with Mizzen on today's video. I am so happy to be working with them again. You guys know I have featured many of their products in my videos, and I'm excited today to be sharing this new product with you that I haven't featured on my channel before, and that is the Mizzen stainless skillet. In this video, I'm going to be meal prepping several items with this awesome skillet, and if you guys don't have a skillet like this, I would definitely recommend getting one. And why I think a stainless skillet is important is that it is oven safe and you can really effectively sear protein in it. You guys will see later that when I sear my chicken breast, it comes out cooked super even and crispy on the outside. A thicker pan like Mizzen's stainless skillet makes for more distance between the flame and the surface of the pan, and this allows heat to evenly distribute and retain heat longer. So like I said, I will be sharing what I'm going to be making in the skillet later in the video, but I wanted to mention that if you guys go to mizzen.com/Jen20, you can get 20% off your first order on this stainless skillet. It's a fantastic price for a fantastic skillet. I can definitely vouch for the quality of their products. I've been using them for months and months, and this is definitely a tool that you need in your kitchen. All right, so moving on to the fridge, here is the before shot of my refrigerator. You can see that I have quite a few leftovers in there. I have some bags just kind of shoved in there. I have a few organization containers, but I'm just not using the space very effectively. I have a drawer full of produce that I need to go through and wash so we can get it eaten. Same with over here, another drawer of produce. And then we typically use the bottom drawer for like our cold cuts and cheeses and dairy and things like that. So, you know, my goal in this video was basically to kind of just remove everything out of the fridge, give it a really great wipe down. And then I did also get some containers to hopefully help me organize everything a little bit better. You guys can be the judge of that, but I definitely wanted to share a before I started. So here are just some clear containers that I got for the organization. You can get these anywhere. These actually are good because you can flip them around and they stack on top of one another. So they can either nest or they can stack. And I had seen some pictures and some videos on YouTube where people had used these for like organizing their produce and different things like that. So that was sort of my idea, is to just kind of rearrange some things in my refrigerator and maybe rethink how I wanted to store everything. And I also want it to be aesthetically pleasing. The other goal was for my family to be able to find things better. I feel like sometimes the way I have the fridge organized now, things just get like shoved to the back of the fridge and they get forgotten, or people are asking me like, Mom, where's the blah, blah, blah? I can't find it. You know, you guys know how that goes. So right now I'm just taking all of these containers out of the packages, and then I'm going to give them a quick rinse with some soapy hot water. Okay, so my first order of business whenever I want to do a refrigerator organization is just take everything out. And what I did in this particular video, which is different than what I've done in some previous videos, is to go section by section. So I'm taking everything out of sort of like the main shelf or section of the refrigerator, and then I'll wipe that down and then sort of start to put stuff back in there. Previously, I've done it where I take everything out all at once, and sometimes that gets kind of overwhelming and you're not sure where to fit things back in. But I did also remove the deli tray from the drawer and put that out on the island. This is when it's great to have a huge island like this in my kitchen. I also took the produce drawers out. I knew I wanted to give those a wipe down and just kind of take stock of everything that was in my fridge. So here's what it looks like with the drawers and everything taken out of the main part. Not terrible, but definitely needed a little bit of wiping. So I don't do anything fancy. I just spray my fridge down with a little bit of multi-surface spray, and then I get a microfiber cloth with some really hot water on it and just give it a good scrub, and everything comes right off. There is a way that I can take these glass shelves out of here. It's very it's hard to do, and I'm always afraid I'm gonna break the glass. Adam and I have done it one time, and I was like, I'm not gonna do that again if I don't have to, because when we were putting them back in, I just thought, oh my gosh, we're gonna break this, and then we're gonna have to order a new one, and what a pain. So I also, once I wiped it down, I also sprayed some Windex in there just to make sure that had a good shine and everything was nice and clean before I started to put the food back in. Okay, so I was excited to get this organization set because it had one of these can organizers in it, and we always keep like canned diet soda and canned sparkling water in our fridge, and sometimes we have like V8 and energy drinks and things like that. So I knew this would come in handy, and bonus, it looks pretty too. So next up is this shelf where I normally keep the eggs, and so I removed everything from there, and I'm just giving that a good wipe down. And I was probably a little bit too excited about this egg container that I got. I had one of these a long time ago, and I'm not sure what happened to it, but I was super excited to take all of my eggs and put them in this little container and put the lid on and get those into the fridge. These are the things that excite me when I'm in my late 30s. If you guys aren't there yet, you can look forward to this. Okay, and then I decided to put the canned drinks back up next to the eggs because that's where we had them before. And then I had this clear container. Like I said, I had a few of these in my fridge that I wasn't using very effectively. And one of these smaller containers is where I like to store the kids' juice pouches. They typically don't drink these at home. They're usually only for school lunches, but they're nice to have on hand in there. And then I can just grab one when I'm packing their lunch in the morning. So I have to say this step is for pretty much for aesthetic reasons, but I thought it would be very pretty to have my container of citrus fruit in the refrigerator. So I'm putting all my limes and lemons into one of these large clear containers, and then I'm actually going to store that outside of the produce drawer. Okay, so you can see here that my produce drawers needed a little bit of work. Sometimes I take these and put them in my sink and wash them out with hot soapy water, but today they didn't need that. I actually feel like I did this not too long ago, maybe a few months ago, so they weren't too dirty. So I just sprayed them with some multi-surface cleaner, wiped them out with a paper towel, and then followed it up with a microfiber cloth with hot water. So here are my produce drawers, nice and clean. Love that. A lot of times people suggest to put a paper towel in the bottom of there. I've tried that before and it doesn't work for me, but if it works for you, go ahead and do that. Next, I'm going to put some of the kids' like snacky type foods and fruit cups into another one of these containers. I had some mandarin oranges, some Jello, pudding rather, not regular Jello. I like this sugar-free vanilla and chocolate pudding. The kids really love it too. I had some yogurts and also some grapefruit sections, and basically I just tried to fit everything in there so I could get as much in as possible without it being overcrowded. I decided to use another one of these narrow containers to store all my dressings in, and I kind of had to rearrange them around a little bit to figure out the best course of action. But I do like keeping a lot of varied dressings on hand because I like to make salads during the week for my lunch, and it's always better if I can have those waiting for me to make my salad taste better. So next I removed everything from the top shelf of the refrigerator, and I'm just going to give that a good wipe down as well. Okay, so we have this tiny little shelf that we keep like relish and like my yeast and different like jams and jellies on, and it's kind of an odd size, so I thought it would be good if I could sort of put some of these little jars into that little like narrow container and then put that on that shelf and keep those better organized. Again, I just had to kind of try to fit things in as best I could, and then we have still been using this for about less than a week now, so sometimes you have to use it for a little bit and then determine how you want to reorganize things. Next, I'm putting everything into another one of these narrow containers, some barbecue sauce, some taco sauce, and then it is time to wipe out the deli tray drawer. I'm just doing that with a bit of Windex. There were quite a few crumbs in here, but not a ton. This drawer is probably the most used. I would say that our family probably eats more than the recommended amount of cheese, but I would guess that some of you guys are like that as well. But really, you know, sandwiches are just like something quick that everyone likes. And so this drawer gets a lot of use because I'm constantly packing lunches for the kids or making quick sandwiches or snack plates and things like that. Okay, so here's a look at that cheese drawer after I kind of put everything back in it. You can see that I didn't have much at this time. I was actually waiting for a grocery delivery, which was the perfect time to do this. So here is what the fridge turned out like. So you can see on the top shelf there, I have a lot of my condiments, and in the middle, I have drinks and eggs and some more condiments in the back. On the bottom shelf, I have the lemons and limes with another tray full of the kids' snacks. I decided to make this drawer on the left here just a drawer for the kids to get their snacks out of. And then the other produce drawer is empty because I was working on prepping all of that produce on this day. And then my meat and cheese drawer was pretty empty too, so that was good. I had a grocery delivery, so I had plenty of new items to put in there. And then I did go through some of my condiments and make sure that none of them were out of date. If I had duplicates, I either combined them or tossed one. And I can tell you guys that this feels so much better. It looks so much better, and it's so much easier to find things. So here are the ingredients that I pulled out of the fridge that I'm going to be meal prepping with. So I had a few chicken breasts in there. I just went ahead and seasoned those with some seasoning, and I'm going to cook those up for some salads. I have some pepperoni, some cheese curds, some fresh mozzarella that I'm going to make a caprese salad with, cream cheese, hummus. I also have some jalapenos that I'm going to make some jalapeno poppers with. I had a few different meal kit items that I hadn't used up. I'll see what I can do with those. Some pork sausage, some cheese, some summer sausage. I also had some grated carrots, some of these little tiny bell peppers, some ground beef, some parsley that I needed to wash up, cucumbers, some lettuce, zucchini, some grapes I needed to wash. And yeah, that was everything that I pulled out. So I have to say, this was kind of fun to just kind of pull everything out of my fridge and decide what I was going to make. So the first thing I'm going to do is get my stainless skillet out from Misen, and I'm going to get that smoking hot with some avocado oil, and I'll just put in the chicken, and I season this just with some like multi-purpose like barbecue seasoning. It doesn't have to be anything special. But the best part about this skillet is that you can get it super hot, like I said earlier. So especially if you're crisping up like steak or fish or chicken, this is the perfect skillet for that. It crisps up so much better than a nonstick skillet. And the best part about this skillet also is that if you're going to make a pan sauce, it deglazes really, really well. So here's that chicken after I seared it. I'm just going to put that on a plate and let it rest while I make the rest of the food. So I had some greens in the refrigerator that were already washed. I'm just kind of picking through those to make sure that there are no bad spots that I need to pick out. And I'm going to go ahead and prep a buffalo chicken salad. So I will link any of the containers and, you know, utensils and things that I use in this video. I always do my best to try and link those down below. So make sure that you check that out. But this is a salad container. And even if I'm working from home, I still like to meal prep. And that's something that I probably wouldn't have seen myself saying last year. Like if you would have asked me last year, hey, you're going to be working from home, sometimes next year, do you think you would still meal prep? I'd be like, no, why would I do that? Because I'll just go down to the kitchen and make myself something. But the truth is that it helps me so much to meal prep because not only do I have stuff just waiting for me when I'm super busy during the day, it also ensures that I'm eating something healthier than a frozen pizza. So once my greens were in the bowl, I'm going to go ahead and chop up one of those chicken breasts. This was totally cool at this point, so I went ahead and popped that on top of the lettuce. Next, I'm going to chop up some different salad veggies, so cucumbers and some tomatoes. I'm also going to put some shredded carrots on there, and then I'm also going to top it with a little bit of blue cheese. So the dressing that I'm using for this salad is actually a buffalo vinaigrette, which I get that usually from Thrive, but I think it's the Whole30 brand. It's really, really good. So it sort of tastes like a buffalo wing, except the dressing is not creamy. I don't know. It's really unique. If you see that, definitely try it. But I'm just going to pour that into the dressing container and pop that on top of the salad. Next, I'm going to chop up the other chicken breast, and this one I'll just put into a container and put it in the refrigerator, and then we can use it throughout the week. I can throw it on top of a salad or even into a kid's lunchbox for some quick protein. Okay, so next up, I'm going to make some jalapeno poppers, and if you guys have never meal prepped these before, they are super easy and a really great thing to prep. So I found this bag of jalapenos in my crisper drawer that I honestly kind of forgot that I bought. I got them at Aldi. So once the jalapenos are cut and all the seeds are scraped out, I just take a block of softened cream cheese and then I use a offset spatula to spread a little bit in each jalapeno, and then next I'll wrap them in bacon. You could totally use flavored cream cheese if you wanted to. I've heard people have used like jalapeno and chive and onion and things like that. I had this plain cream cheese on hand, so that's just what I used. But if you guys have tried a different flavor, I would love to know it in the comments below. After all the jalapenos are stuffed with cream cheese, then I just take bacon and wrap them around until they are all sort of wrapped up in the bacon strips. For the larger jalapenos, usually I just use one strip of bacon, and then for the smaller ones, I'll cut the strip in half and use that. Bacon does shrink up in the oven when it cooks, so if you use too small of a piece, you won't have enough when they bake, just so you're aware of that. So once all the jalapenos were wrapped in the bacon, I like to sprinkle a little bit of brown sugar on the top. If you're watching your carbs, you could totally use the Swerve brown sugar. It works just as well. I've definitely used that before. This step is optional, but I definitely think it adds something to the bacon wrapped jalapenos. The sweet kind of contrasts with the spicy pepper, so I would definitely recommend it. And here's what they look like when they're all done. I'm just going to go ahead and throw some foil on these and pop them into the fridge, and they'll be ready for a side for dinner later this week. So next, what I decided to make is kind of like a low carb pizza casserole. This was just something that I came up with because I had all of these ingredients in the fridge. So I have a long pepper. I think this is a Anaheim chili, maybe. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. I just had this in my crisper drawer. And so what I decided to do was chop this up, and I'm going to saute it in a skillet with some Italian sausage and some mushrooms, and sort of make just like kind of just the toppings for a pizza, but in a dish. My husband Adam sometimes tries to watch his carbs, and so this is a perfect meal prep for him. The other thing that I had in the refrigerator was a portobello mushroom, and I know you typically cook these whole, but I decided to dice it up and throw it in this pizza casserole. So here is again my mise en skillet. This works so well for sauteing up veggies and ground meat. It is perfect. I remove the casings from the Italian sausage, put that in the skillet along with the peppers and the mushrooms, and I'm just going to let that cook through until everything is cooked through. And then I added about half a small jar of marinara sauce, gave that a stir around, tasted it, seasoned it with salt and pepper. And then at the end, I added in some diced pepperoni, and then this will become the filling for my low carb pizza casserole. So all I did was I just put this into a meal prep container and sprinkled some mozzarella cheese over the top. For the portion that I had, this just serves one, but if you wanted to make this larger, you totally could just put it in a bigger casserole dish and throw some cheese on top. Okay, so next I'm going to do another quote low carb pasta dish. I actually ended up eating this for lunch and it was really good. This is a zucchini marinara, so basically just kind of making a meat sauce, and then instead of spaghetti pasta, I'm going to use spiralized zucchini. So I'm just taking my zucchini and spiralizing that. I have this super cheap spiralizer. It was like $5 at Walgreens. It's nothing fancy, but it definitely does the job. So I wiped out my skillet and I'm just sauteing up some ground beef. I had some extra ground beef left over from this weekend. We made burgers for Adam's birthday, and so I had a bit left over. So I sauteed that in my mise en stainless skillet along with some minced onion and some salt and pepper. I did drain that, and then once I returned it to the pan, I added half a jar, or the other half of the jar of that marinara sauce, which that's really good marinara sauce. I cannot remember the brand of it. I think it's like Sonoma or something like that. But anyway, I stirred this together and then added the zucchini. So once zucchini is spiralized, it does not have to cook for very long. And in fact, if you cook it for too long, it will get mushy on you. So what I like to do is just kind of throw it in the hot sauce and then just let it steam through. So next up, I'm going to wash up all of my veggies. This is one thing that I typically try to do as soon as I get them home from the store, but I don't always get that completed. So I'm using my salad spinner to wash up my parsley and my cilantro. And then I just like to spin this dry. And what I do is I get it as dry as possible. And then I roll the herbs up in a paper towel and put these in a Ziploc bag and throw it in the fridge. So I also washed up some cherry tomatoes that I had in the fridge, and I'm going to cut these in half and put them in a dish. And I will be combining these with the mozzarella pearls that I also had in my refrigerator to make sort of a caprese salad. Once the tomatoes are chopped up, I'm going to mince up some green onions and some basil. I have a hydroponic garden in my house, and so that's where I grow this stuff at, but you could totally get it from the store also. It is nice to have those fresh herbs on hand though. So I'm popping those into the container along with the tomatoes. And then next I'm just seasoning that with some salt and some pepper and some olive oil. And then I am using a slotted spoon to get the marinated mozzarella out of the container. It does come in quite a bit of oil, this particular kind of marinated mozzarella, and I'm okay with having some of that in the salad, but I don't want all of it. So using a slotted spoon just to remove that and put it into the tomatoes and give it a good stir. Okay, so super easy caprese. That is one of my favorite things to meal prep, and I love having it on hand for lunch during the week. Okay, so next up, I'm just going to chop up some veggies that were in my refrigerator. So I'm starting with a yellow bell pepper, just cutting that up. I have a divided container that I'm going to store these raw veggies in. I always find that when I cut these up and store them in the fridge, we eat them so much better. In fact, while I was shooting this video, Connor ate a bunch of cucumbers and almost all of the extra tomatoes that I had. He loves raw veggies, and even Kira loves raw peppers as well. Next up, I'm going to slice up this cucumber. This did not happen to be a English cucumber or a seedless cucumber like I normally get. So when I get these, I like to peel most of the skin off just because it can be kind of waxy. And then I leave a little bit of it on there just for color, is really the only reason why I do that. And then I'm just going to go ahead and slice this up. And yes, I'm using my Misen knife as well. This has become my go-to chef's knife. So I'll link a couple videos down below where I featured the Misen chef's knife. A lot of you guys have told me you have purchased them and you like them as well. So here's that container that I was telling you guys about. This is a Sistema brand container. It's really great for storing veggies. So I just like to kind of store a different kind of veggie in each sort of compartment of the container. That keeps them fresh a lot longer. Next, I had these little mini bell peppers. Actually, I purchased these a while ago, washed them up, put them in the fridge, and we never ate them. And I was like, I wonder if these are still good. And yes, they were. So I went ahead and chopped these up, and I'm glad that I'm getting them used up. One of my goals with this, particular meal prep and fridge clean out was just to kind of take stock of anything I had and to waste as little as possible. So you can also stuff these peppers just like you do the jalapeno ones and cook them that way. But my kids like raw bell peppers, so I'm just kind of cutting them up and using them for crudité. All right, so here is all my veggies: red, yellow, and orange bell peppers, along with some cucumber and some tomatoes. Bright, colorful, and delicious, and ready for the week. Okay, so next up, I'm making a hummus snack box. I had one of the containers of hummus in the refrigerator that I needed to get used up. It's an everything bagel flavored hummus that's really good, actually. And so I just kind of thought I would throw a snack box together. These are super easy to grab for lunch during the week as well. So this is half of an English cucumber that I wanted to use up. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that into sticks and then put that into a meal prep container. Next, I'm putting my hummus in. This is the Tribe Everything hummus. I'm always kind of leery of buying prepackaged hummus just because sometimes I feel like they have kind of an off taste, but the Tribe is very good. I would definitely recommend it if you haven't tried it. And then next, I'm going to put in some little mini naan breads. These were in the freezer, actually. You have to freeze them, otherwise they will mold fast, but they'll thaw out in the fridge as this sits. Next, I put in some feta cheese. I thought that would be good in in there, and then I put cucumber in there, and then I realized, oh, I already have cucumber in there. So I threw in a couple of tomatoes. I seasoned the cucumber and the tomato with a little bit of pepper, and that will be a delicious lunch for me this week. Okay, so next up, I'm going to prep some meat and cheese that I had in the fridge. I had a couple different packages of cheese that I wanted to get used up, and I actually forgot to buy cheese sticks at the grocery store this week. Normally I buy like the sharp cheddar cheese, either the bars or the sticks for my kids, and I'm like, why am I not just cutting those up myself? Because I feel like it's a lot cheaper that way. So I decided to kind of use this sharp cheddar cheese and cut it into long sticks, and then I thought, well, I kind of want to individually wrap them, so I ended up cutting them into chunks, and I'm going to store them in some little snack bags. So after I put the yellow cheese into these snack bags, I'm going to move on to some sharp white cheddar cheese. This is one that I had gotten from Aldi. I actually got it to make white cheddar mac and cheese. I bought 2 packages and only used one, but my kids love eating cheese with crackers and pepperoni and things like that, so definitely we will use it. So I did the same thing with these, cut it up into cubes and put them into some Ziploc bags. So definitely a lot cheaper than buying pre-made cheese sticks, and I'm not sure if I'll continue to do this for the duration, but it was a good option this week to get things used up. I also had a roll of summer sausage in my drawer that I kind of forgot. Like, I didn't forget about it, but I just kept looking at it and thinking, I should cut that up. And never did. So I went ahead and sliced this up, removed the paper from the outside, and then I'm just going to make another tray of sliced sausage. And then I'm also going to cut up some Swiss cheese as well. I don't know that my kids will eat like Swiss cheese like that, but Adam is always looking for lower carb snacks. So this is definitely something he can use along with like a side of nuts or something like that. Definitely a high protein, low carb snack to keep in your refrigerator. Okay, so here's that Swiss cheese that I'm cutting up. I'm kind of just cutting these into little cracker type cuts. I had actually bought this Swiss cheese to make a quiche with, but I don't think I need the whole thing. So I'm going to reserve half for that and put half into the container with the summer sausage. And then we'll have that on hand. It will definitely get eaten up this way. All right, guys. So here is everything that I got meal prepped today. I was so happy with what I was able to get done. I want to share with you guys in detail everything that I made. So I did the little cheese cube bags to put in the meat and cheese drawer. I also made some chicken breast, so slice that up. One of those is in this container. I'll use that for a salad probably. I made that caprese salad super quick with the marinated mozzarella and the cherry tomatoes. I also made the zucchini marinara with the spiralized zucchini and the meat sauce, and then the low carb pizza casserole with the mozzarella cheese on top. I also made the hummus snack box with feta, tomato, cucumber, and little naan breads. Looking forward to eating that. Here's that buffalo chicken salad with the blue cheese. Also looking forward to eating that. You can see there's one lone tomato in there because Connor ate a lot of them, but there's my raw veggies, then my summer sausage and Swiss cheese. There are my herbs that I got washed up, so my cilantro and parsley. They will keep really well that way in the refrigerator for up to a week. And then last but not least, my delicious jalapeno poppers. I think I'm going to make those for dinner tonight. So I thought this was really productive. I accomplished my goal of organizing my refrigerator as well as using up the food that was in there without wasting it. All right, so that is going to be it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I was super happy with what I was able to get done, the amount of food I was able to get prepped, and I'm really happy with how my refrigerator turned out. Thank you again to Misen for sponsoring today's video. Don't forget to check out their stainless steel skillet. It is fantastic. I've been using it for several weeks now, and I can honestly say that it has become one of my favorite skillets. I'll have all the information for a discount in the link down below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.